Agreed. So here we have Bringers of the Storm versus Brawls Deep. Map is Tomb of the Spider Queen. This is the first game of a best of three, for the Pro Division of Cherry League. And Bringers of the Storm has first pick. This is Brawls Deep map choice, however, so you gotta feel like they are confident in their ability to draft. And Bringers of the Storm immediately banning out Zagara, and I don't agree with that. I think Zagara is arguably the strongest hero on this map, at least, right now, because he guarantees you win one lane. And winning one lane 100% of the time is really strong. The vision, creep tumors give you around turn in. It's just if there's a particular hero that's very, very strong, you shouldn't first ban it because you can first pick it. It just doesn't make sense.
So, I think Bringers here is trying to bait the Sylvanas or Zul ban and just take whatever one's left. Pretty common tactic in Hero League as well.
You think so? You think they're going to lock in Zul here and then the Tri-Specialist? But then Brawls Deep, Brawls Deep is going to respond with Kerrigan immediately, hoping to get a pick on that Zul. And Zul is relatively fragile. He's very comboable by Kerrigan. Especially if you have a coordinated team, a four-man rotation, you can get that pick off.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what Brawls Deep goes with. I imagine we'll see Kerrigan, as you said, but I wonder what they're going to go for that second pick. A lot of options they could go into.
I mean, I think there's the ETC follow-up as a huge threat. If they wanted to focus more on the late game team fight, they could pick up Tyrael instead. They opt for the Li Ming on a wave clear-centric map. They take a hero who has no wave clear. They're denying that synergy with the Zul route, which can be quite strong, so I understand that part of it. But I don't know about picking up Li Ming first pick on such a wave clear-centric map. And they opt for...
They leave Kerrigan.
Wow.
Man. That's pretty strange. I wonder if Bringers of the Storm will take the Kerrigan even though they already have a Zul. That does give them a lot of melee pressure.
I mean, it does. And they can, they have options in what they can deny. They could take the Kerrigan and the ETC, or they could take the Kerrigan and Kael'thas, and have a really nice stun chain, and they can ban out the Johanna, which would deny the peel available for Brawls Deep. Brawls Deep's choices have left Bringers of the Storm with a plethora of good options, and I don't think that's what you want to do in a draft. I think when you're drafting, you want to try and limit what your opponents are trying to do, not give them every choice in the world about what synergies they can decide that they want and play their best heroes.
I think Bringers of the Storm later on also could, for their mage, anything they go here is pretty great. Jaina has great synergy with Zul, so does KT though.
Question from chat. Claverglass, if you draft Ming here, what build do you go? I think on wave clear centric maps, you're forced into Calamity. You literally do not have a choice. You have to go Calamity, which means that affects the rest of your build. That doesn't affect the rest of your build choices too much because she doesn't have that much variation. 7 is actually her biggest talent variation, aside from her heroics, but it forces it a more aggressive style of play for the most part. Bringers of the Storm locking in Ariel. We did see Ariel used to great effect with Zul at PAX West because of the ability to switch the crown around. You switch it to him right as he Poison Novas. You get multiple full bars of hope from that damage over time from a strong Poison Nova. And then you switch it back, and you can just keep doing that. You get so much value. Johanna also picked up. Johanna Zul, one of the strongest duo wave clear comps in the entire game. And at this point, Brawls Deep simply cannot win the rotation. They need to get picks. There's nothing they can draft that will give them good enough wave clear to win. Show banned out for Brawls Deep, so they're afraid of that Shogal composition. I don't know if that would actually be something they would go for, considering they wouldn't have had a solo laner. But interesting ban choice from Brawls Deep. They're obviously afraid of that combo.
Do you think Bringers here, what do you think they're going to ban? Do you think either the Asmodan or the ETC? I think those are probably the two most likely bans here.
I don't know why they ban Asmodan. They have Joe. You need a strong stacking assistant for Asmodan because they end up banning the Rhaegar. Trying to deny that support synergy, but they left Uther ETC on the table, which means Divine Mosh is a real thing that could happen. I don't entirely understand why you would leave Divine Mosh on the table when you're going to ban a support.
Maybe they're just that confident. And it's especially scary, too, because they have Ariel. And so with Ariel, your team has to group together to get the maximum value out of heals.
Yeah, at this point, I think it would behoove Brawls Deep to take heroes that threaten grouping in some way. ETC and Kael'thas are the two best heroes at doing that, one because of Chain Bomb and the other because of that threat of a massive power slide and later on power slide into Mosh Pit. They opt for Leoric. That is going to punish the Johanna quite a bit, and he does have fairly good wave clear. But he struggles against Zul. You can't be ahead on the rotation versus Zul, so it doesn't matter how good your wave clear is because you're always behind. It's just awkward.
I wonder if I imagine they'll pick up another tank. The double warrior meta is very strong now.
You think? Because that will give them a triple frontliner. That'll be Thrall, Leoric, plus yet another frontliner, Johanna.
Against Zul too with Backlash.
Against Zul with Backlash, Giant Strike at 13 against Johanna with Condemn, getting all of that value, and Kael'thas on the menu. Like, Kael'thas is a real thing that could get picked up. And Condemn plus Chain Bomb versus triple melee is just... Okay, they upped into the Tychus. I like that decision. They're going for 2% damage abilities. They're going to try and do a lot of work zoning the Johanna out, just constantly pressuring her. And I think that is something that might end up working out for them.
Yeah, I really like that pick as well. Really puts a lot of pressure on the Johanna, makes her seem a lot less tanky just because of the percent damage that she'll take. How will Bringers respond for their final 2 picks? They need some range.
I mean, they need a ranged damage dealer, unquestionably. Ideally, that should be a mage, so it's pretty much going to Kael'thas Chromie Li Ming. They opt for Falstad. I really hope they're going to pick up another mage if they're going to do that, because Falstad, while his mage build is quite strong, doesn't quite punish Leoric in quite the same way, and they opt for Tyron, so they're going for the double support style of comp with Ariel. This means Falstad is going to be their solo laner against Thrall. That is a lost lane. Thrall will eventually inevitably wear that lane out. And Medic picked up 4 Brawls deep. Wow, that was a draft.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think, though, I really like the Medic pick for the final pick for Brawls deep. Just because so the other team has Tron. Tron blows someone up. Medic is probably the best support without using her ults or ult or anything to save someone, just because of that safeguard and that massive heal. And she does have cleanse, of course. They needed that.
Yeah, it is so difficult to kill any hero unless everyone focuses the same target through Medic's healing. It's just exceptionally difficult, especially if she throws the safeguard on there as well. And Leoric is going to have the additional healing from Drain, so if there's a focus on Leoric and Medic's healing him. My concern is that Leoric, as a tank, lacks a significant amount of peel. So if the Medic is ever out of position, it's going to be very easy to get on top of her. However, there's not a lot of dive from Bringers of the Storm, except for aggressive Falstad Gus. So I think Gus is going to be make or break this game for Bringers of the Storm.
Yeah, Johanna is a super annoying tank for Medic, especially if she goes Condemn build, just because every Condemn can interrupt Medic's healing. But that Johanna just can't be as aggressive as she would like with a Leoric and Tychus there.
Yeah, it's going to come down to their positioning. I imagine we're going to see medevac just for the self-peel. They do have a couple of strong sim targets, but I don't think it's worth doing. It is worth noting that Entomb Tychus is actually quite strong. Anytime you can force the enemy to stand still in a fixed area for a good period of time, Tychus' trait gets a lot of value because Tychus isn't really a hero that you can stutter step with very consistently. He attacks 4 times per second, which means it takes 8 actions per second to perfectly stutter him, and realistically it just doesn't work. You can't do it. The animation times alone screw you up. So Entomb Tychus is a very strong combination, and I'm hoping that that's kind of what they're going for.
They do have that Crystal Aegis save.
Yeah, and that's going to be a problem, right? Because as soon as Entomb comes down, as soon as that hero who's in the Entomb starts getting melted, you have Aegis comes down on them right away. And not only that, but you have the secondary heal from Tyrande. We're going to have the zoning potential from Starfall or the extra heal from Shadowstalk. They have options in that regard.
And even if that's not enough, you always have that gust option too, just to gust the enemy team away. Reset the fight.
Yeah, generally speaking, we see Leoric and Falstad together a lot of the time, but we don't see them on the opposite sides very often, because generally you don't pick Leoric when Falstad's still available, because Entomb's value gets mitigated quite a bit by Gust. They sort of counter each other. They have almost the same cooldown. Entomb's a little bit shorter, but it's not close enough to make a difference.
And also, Falstad can really chunk Leoric pretty easily as well.
Also true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you happen to Entomb Falstad, he can just barrel roll out.
And it is worth noting, Zul, Tyrande, and Ariel, and Johanna, though, none of them have escaped. So if Gust is down and a strong Entomb happens, they will be able to hopefully secure that pick. Li Ming also, her targeting will be assisted quite a bit by Entomb. And Sunder is a reasonable follow-up if the team tries to collapse to rescue the Entomb target.
We'll have to see how these rotations play out with the Zul.
So for the blue team on the left, Bringers of the Storm, we have Azrael on Tyrande, Boom on Zul, Fellowin on Falstad, Benzo on Johanna, and Finio on Ariel.
And on the red team, we have the next Slash, Special T on Tychus. Sorry, next slash on Thrall. We have Nailter on Lieutenant Morales. We have Chunky Juice on Leoric, and we have FZ Ignition on Li Ming.
And that is Brawls deep on the right there. I do not, Lord Boo. Apparently we're getting some Twitch memes. The Doge of food right there. I don't think it worked out quite right. That doesn't quite look like a dog.
I can see it.
We do see Ariel opting into Searing Light at level 1. That is going to give her a little bit of wave clear, and if she can get the enemy team to group up, that gives her basically a mana or a hope advantage, healing advantage. It's quite significant. We see Shade picked up 4 Zool. I'm a little bit surprised by that, just because Shade got nerfed so significantly. Trauma Trigger picked up at level 1 for Medic. Not going to go for that Vision scouting drone, so she's worried about getting collapsed upon. And other than that, talents are pretty. Oh, Johanna actually picking up Regen Master at level 1. That cannot be classified as anything but a mistake, especially on this map.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Huh.
Lucy Fellowin turning in gems. He's managing the solo lane versus Thrall. Next Slash is sort of waiting in the bush, trying to get the root off. Fellowin actually aggressively barrels in, does not have it available as an escape, and gets absolutely chunked. One more Q, ends up going down. This is why you need to draft a solo laner, ladies and gentlemen. Also why you save your escape for running away and not for diving in.
Yeah, definitely a mistake there in the bot lane. Rotations as well. We have Zool getting picked off. Not what you want in this rotation-heavy map.
No, not what you want at all. And with not Nitex's pawn, Johanna doesn't have any wave clear. So Zool being dead means their wave clear is 0. Drained Hope on Johanna. Crunchu's doing so much work, and FZ Ignition hitting with all of her Qs, but not quite enough to finish off Benzo, but he was so close to being dead. And they have the better wave clear comp, and they're behind in the rotation, and they're losing the bottom lane to that Thrall. Bringers of the Storm is 100% on the back foot. If they keep this up, they're just not going to have any chance of coming back in this game. Level 4, a full level ahead, 4 Brawls deep right now.
Yeah, and in that fight earlier, too, we saw how much work Leoric can actually do on Johanna. And Tychus wasn't even there. Late game, that Johanna's just going to get melted in team fights.
I don't know what they're thinking. We do see In the Rhythm picked up for Tychus, so he's going for more of a heal-centric build. Falstad gets killed again in the bottom lane by Next Slash. Boom's going to rotate down in time to pick up the few gems that he did have available. But this is just absurd.
Now also they have lost Zool for their double rotation, at least momentarily, while he's in the bottom lane. I'm sure Thrall was going to try to delay him too from going back to mid lane and getting more pressure.
Yeah, they are actually losing the whole mid lane of Soak right now. Boom not going to get there in time. And he stops to turn in. He doesn't even go for the Soak. He's just trying to turn in the gems they're trying to turn in the gems piecemeal because they're getting picked apart so badly. And that's how you know you're on the back foot. When the enemy team's like, we're just going to kill you, and you feel pressured to turn in gems every single time, which puts you even further behind in the rotation. This is just bad decision making by Bringers of the Storm across the board.
Yeah, man, that medic also is just healing people. When the enemy team has a medic, you really need to either have an AoE-centered team, or you need a team who can really dive in and kill that medic. If you have single target and you can't get to the medic, that's the ideal situation for her.
I mean, or you can play the map, right? That's the other option. You can just pressure the enemy team so hard, PvE it, clear the waves, rotate, and they drafted to do that, and then didn't talent for it and aren't coordinating it. And again, that false set pickup is so awkward because they don't have someone who can win the solo lane. They just don't. You're not going to beat Thrall in lane as false setting.
As we've already seen with the double deaths. Thrall again looking for this Falstad. Falstad better be careful. Bot lane gets rooted. Health low. He's going to die to the Q.
Yep. There he is again. That is 3 1v1 kills for Next Slash to none. Not even feeling the burn here. Like his health never drops below half at most. He's just fine. I'm actually surprised he's not clearing this wave aggressively here, just because the enemy team has been so poor at rotations. He could have cleared it, pushed it into the towers, and denied that experience. He's playing passively. He doesn't want the lane to be too pushed out because he doesn't want to get collapsed on.
He does have 20 gems. That does make him a target. Look at Tehran here in the bot. One root and she's easily dead. Misses the root, but doesn't matter.
Overkill on specialty is enough to finish it off. And they're actually even picking up the gems that Tehran dropped in her death, even though it means going into tower range. He almost absorbs a shot from that. He doesn't even care. And they are going to get first turn in up a talent tier. I don't even know. Ghastly Reach picked up for Leoric. It's going to go for that wave clear centric style of play, and they're playing the PvE style here, where they're out rotating their opponents with their talents. They're not even going for the team fight, even though they're supposed to be the team fight comp. This is just absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know how blue team can come back. They need to Rui's. I don't even know. They have I'd say an inferior comp when it comes to team fighting, and they're already down 2 levels.
I don't think they can come back, because I think that they've severely misunderstood what their comp's supposed to be good at, and I don't think that's something that they can fix just from playing the game. I think at this point they're so far behind that it would actually be Brawls would have to make a mistake for anything to happen here, which is not a good situation to be in. You're like, okay, if the enemy team messes up, maybe we can make something happen. Nah, no.
Also, Ariel becomes significantly worse of a healer the farther you fall behind.
This is true. Just because of the way damage scaling works, if your team's doing less damage, then you're healing for less as well. And their health pools are bigger than yours, so you're not going to secure those kills. 10 picked up a full 3-level lead for Brawls Deep. And here's how you know when you misplayed the map, ladies and gentlemen. If you're ever more than 2 levels behind, you made a huge mistake somewhere, fundamentally, in terms of the way you're playing the map, in terms of soaking. Not guarding those gems. They could have guarded those, made sure they didn't get those picked up, but it looks like Bringers of the Storm is so far on the back that they didn't even try and rotate to grab them.
They are split right here. Man. They really need to get a pick. That's like the only thing that Bringers of the Storm can do. I don't know. It's going to be a hard fight.
I mean, Brawls Deep looks very overextended there, but the reality is they have medevac. They could have left at any time if it actually became an issue for them. Leoric, or even, Leoric can wave walk out and zone for his team with his Q. He could have entombed as well as using it almost as a force wall, so they were fine. It looked like they were a little
Falstad again, going to get killed at his force. They don't even care. They just walked in there and said, hey, I'm just going to kill you again, Falstad.
Yeah, so Falstad died right here, ladies and gentlemen. That is almost behind his fort. They just walked in and killed him. They didn't even have to use a heroic. Sunder and Odin both still available. Surprised to see Odin picked up over Laser. Generally speaking, we only see that on Infernal Shrines. Just because it's a map where you know when the fight is going to happen, so you can prep it beforehand. You're never quite entirely sure when a real fight's going to break out on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And Brawls Deep just going for boss. They're like, oh wait, yeah, there's a boss here. We're gonna get turn in. We're gonna get boss at the same time.
Azrael missed the stun on the Thrall who was turning in. That's unfortunate.
I mean, they would have delayed him for a little bit, but I don't think it would have mattered that much. And at this point, remember, medevac is still available. Everyone can everyone can back for full health, full mana, hop in the medevac, come in, and push at full health and full mana with boss and Web Weaver. They don't even do that, though. Odin was popped to race the boss faster. I'm not sure that actually increases the damage significantly. Medevac aggressively into the back line. Azrael does get picked off. That wasn't even necessary, but it looked cool. Tower is going to go down. Webweaver and Boss now on the keep wall. Again, a full 3-level lead for Brawls Deep here, and they're going to get keep here easily. A massive Entomb going down on Johanna, and she just has to stand there and let Tychus wreck her, and she barely gets away with 400 health. Regen Master actually technically saving her there, but I still think Take Spawn would have been a better choice.
This is probably going to be a key. Brawls Deep is up just so much right here. 3 levels.
More than a keep, I think this is probably actually going to be game. That boss is still very healthy. The Webweaver is still alive. The tower is gone, and all of that wave is going to be on keep now. 10 still not picked up for Bringers of the Storm. We'll be here momentarily, but they're down to Tron. Still, one more pick is really all Brawls Deep needs to close out this game.
Oh man, yeah, this one it looks like it's over.
A massive poison nova from Zool does do so much damage, as well as the follow-up from Falling Sword. Li Ming gets picked off as well, but Tychus is still alive.
Go, Tychus, go!
Now the game.
Wow, 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Brawls Deep in convincing fashion, doing exactly what they needed to do.
I don't know what to say. I really... Except for maybe the Tehran pick, I definitely feel like Bringers of the Storm had a strong draft, but they completely misplayed and mistalented what they were doing. They really needed a solo laner over the Tehran pickup, or even over the Falstad. They just needed to have something different. It's just very poor decision making in the last 2 picks of the draft and on the map in general.
Yeah, I have to agree. Man, Brawls Deep though, they did everything that they needed to do